All right, welcome everyone. Hello. So we've got a little, these are quite standard juniper procumbens, they call them, or prostrata. That's the technical name. These are quite easy to do and easy to look after, especially for new people. And it's good to demonstrate on because it shows you the basic techniques that you need to employ and try and use and so on. These usually grow along the ground, but what happens is we get them from a nursery that they twist them around the stake. The reason to do that is to get some bends and twists in the trunk, so it makes it more interesting. Because you don't want to, sometimes you don't want just a straight tree, you just want something that twists and turns and so on. So this was done earlier. It's a nice, quite a tall, nice slender tree. I'm going to go for something a bit different. I'm going to go for a smaller squatter tree. So that's my plan. So how do we get that into a small squat tree?
So how old is that plant?
I'd say wouldn't be more than about 5 to 7 years probably. Grown from a cutting probably. So they grow them in cuttings and they just grow them on and twist them up and so on. So I don't know if there's too many of these around. There could be. Just have a look. These are a little bit spiky. There's a different variety called shiitake juniper, which is a bit more softer. But so and so, you just have a go and have a look. So first thing you do is when you look for trees and look for trees even out there, is you want to scrape around the base. Because what you want to see is the root spread on the top. That's called nabari in Japanese. And that's like, the better the root spread, the more mature and older the tree looks. Because this is all about illusion of age, okay? This, look at that, that looks a bit older. This looks like just a juvenile tree, you know, nothing too special. So you always dig around, try and find the root spread, try and find what looks nice. The more roots, the better. This is a bit young to look for that, so we can pretty much pick anything we want. The next thing I do is I turn it. I don't know if you've seen it, that's why I've got a turntable. You turn it and twist it and try and find a nice angle for the tree. You want to have, like you see in the display in the exhibition, every tree you look at it from a certain angle. That's the front of the tree. So you always want to look at a piece of art from the front of the tree, right? And that's what you got to think about. Where does this tree want it? Where do you want to look at this tree in terms of angle? And you just play around with it. It's really, at the moment, it's a bit hard to know exactly what you want to do. So because it's hard to know initially, what you want to do is you want to start to clear out things that you don't want. So I always think, what don't I want with this tree? What's not going to survive? And the way I know that is down the bottom, there's a lot of little twigs and so on. It's a bit fluffy and small and so on. So when you go out there, when you look at the main branches at the bottom, they're big and strong branches, right? So you don't want to have small, twiggy, little things at the base. You want a nice, big, strong branch to start with. So that's probably, if you look for that first thing, that's the first step. Look for the big, strong first branch. Now I'm just going to bend down here because I can't see myself. But the other thing you can do is take this out. I might make a mess, but a little mess, but that's okay. So it's pretty solid. You can see the roots nice and around there. So you can do that as well and just comb some of the topsoil off. Oh. So when you sell trees, people always want to bargain.
Oh no, that's good.
Okay, so first thing I do, I can see a really nice base just in there. So it's a really nice little base in there. It looks quite pretty. But this is all fluffy. It's not going to survive. Not going to be good. So I can tell probably there's a nice, see this branch here? That's a nice first branch, I think. Looks good, looks strong, looks solid. Imagine that sitting there and we can get that in position. So I would go now and just go out and trim these little fluffy bits out. Now, this is one of the most important tools if you want to keep going with bonsai. It's a branch cutter. Branch cutters are, see how they're funny shaped? It's because when you come in to cut against the trunk, it leaves a concave cut. The concave means it'll heal flat. So because when it heals over, so if you cut off a branch, let's say just straight off a branch, it heals over with a bit of a lump. When you do a concave cut, the heel, because it's concave, it heals flat. So that's why these are critical. And I pretty much cut most things with this. Big branches, small branches, and so on. So if you want one tool, this is the most important tool to have. You can get away with different Y cutters. If you need Y cutters, you can use whatever. These are a bit more professional and you get it right in there. Any type of sharp scissors to get in there and do twigs, but this is critical. This is the most important one if you want to keep doing bonsai and keep working on lots of trees. Okay, so I'm just going through. So these are so small, you can see they're so small, that's too small, there's no point. Because I want to expose the first bit of this tree. Yep. I'm sure of what I'm doing. Sometimes you think, oh, what is he doing? Why is he doing that for? But no, it's just I've done this enough times to know what should work and what shouldn't work. But really all I'm doing is taking off the fluffy little bits, because the fluffy little bits don't give it age. Only the big, heavy, strong branches give it age. So this won't take me too long because it's quite a small tree, quite a young tree. So okay, now you can kind of see, I've cleared that fluff out and you can see the trunk and you see the base, right? And you start, ooh, that was quick, that was easy, right? Yeah, it's got a nice shape already, this tree. So I'm going to have this as the main branch. Now I'm going to look for other branches I want to use to balance it out. Because now I want to go, okay, that might be my first branch, but I need another one maybe a little bit higher on this side. Need one at the back for depth. And then let's sort of work your way up and build the tree. And that's really what we're going to do. So what I like to do is clean it out, have an image in my head what I want to do, clean out the fluffy bits, keep the main branches, and then I start wiring. Okay, so it's a bit of a process. You eliminate the bad, keep the good kind of thing. Eliminate the things you don't want, keep the things you do want. It's not hard. It's just do it over and over again. It gets pretty easy. Like when I first started, I had hundreds of trees, hundreds and hundreds, because I just wanted to learn. I wanted to learn as much as I can on different species and everything like that. So I had hundreds of trees. But then eventually you start to realise you can't look after hundreds of trees, and you really need to just focus on what you're good at or what you enjoy. And eventually I love trident maples. I think you know what trident maples are. I love the junipers that are called the shimpaku, which is the softer foliage. You might see that guy that walked in with the tree before, that's shimpaku. It's very fine foliage. So they're the two I love, and the black pines. I really love black pines as well. So pretty much the staple Japanese kind of trees that everyone will use, but natives are beautiful if you're into natives. Natives now are coming along really well. There's a whole bunch of variety. There's so much good variety out there. You just don't know there's so much to choose from. But you just got to play around and see what you love and what you enjoy. All right, let's have a look. So all I'm doing is cleaning out the fluffy bits. I'm working my way up the tree. I can pick them off the trunk with my fingers because they're so small. So I probably found, because this is a good strong branch, I probably found a nice little one here that I might want to keep as another good branch. So I'll work my way around that, get all the fluffy bits off again. There's a nice one, so there might be one here, but there's a nice one just at the back here. So we'll keep that as well, just for now. So you can see the ones that I'm picking out are kind of got some solid branch structure already. It's not little fluffy bits. Have you guys seen the show, the exhibition inside yet?
Yes.
What do you reckon? Pretty good? Did anyone see us on the Channel 10 news yesterday? The weather?
No.
Yeah, we won the. Mike Larkin came down and.
Good.
Yeah, Mike Larkin came down and so it was good fun.
3AW.
And 3AW was on, yeah. So getting a bit of publicity, it's good. So
Have you done this exhibition before, or is this the first time?
Oh, we do it pretty much every year. We just didn't do it last year here because we had a huge national convention we hosted, and that was done at Bell City. That was a huge international thing, and we had international people come down, and it was a bit bigger than Ben-Hur, as they say. So all I'm doing is picking through. So now I'm just trying to envision what I'm going to do with this tree. So you can see I've got some nice cleaned up structure now. It looks a bit fluffy still, but these are actually nice, a bit more shape there. So now I want to see. You can always do this, change angles as well. Don't ever think you just have to leave the tree as it is. You can actually go, oh, maybe it'll look better like that. Maybe it'll look better like that. Cascading. You know, it's different types of trees and different types of shapes. I'm not sure if I'll repot it, but we'll see how we go today. So I've cleaned out most of the fluffy bits that I don't want, but now I've got all this stuff at the top. It's very heavy, so it's now, do I use this and work it in, or do I just cut it off? Yeah, see? You can't be scared to cut things off sometimes, okay? But you got to be sure of what you want to do. But let me keep working through, because I need to make sure I'm sure. And you notice how I'm bending this tree? It's quite flexible. So that's good news. Let me see this. So you can see from where I started, it's pretty much cleaned up. A lot of it's gone. A lot of the messy stuff's gone. I'm just cleaning up a bit more things that I don't want. Lots of people coming in now.
Not watching their watches.
That's all good. All good. So now what I like to do is I have an idea of what I want to do, but I want to see if I can incorporate the rest of the trunk. I don't want to just cut it all off. I want to see if I can bend it and twist it and see what I can do. So you need wire to do that. So I've got lots of wire over here. So I probably need some fairly heavy gauge, probably 4mm. I think we might have a 4mm in here. Or 5mm. I think we might go 5mm. This is very handy, but it's not mine. It's the club's. But I wish it was mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you wire the trunk. It's one of the, especially if you've got young trees, it's good to wire the trunk. So it doesn't make you have a stick going straight up. Let's get some movement. I know this has got some movement already, but I want to get even more movement in. So, because I'm trying to think, I want to compress this further. I want to see if I can twist this all the way around or something like that, or twist it this way. We'll try and work on ideas. I just don't want to go and cut it off. I want to see if I can use it. Or what we can do as well is create a gin. You know what a gin is? It's a piece of dead wood on the tree. Dead wood on trees make the tree look older. Okay, so that's with junipers. It's really good to do and handy to have gin on junipers. So I try and estimate how much wire I need. I need to go around. Tree's about that big. Probably that much wire. So you start with towards the back. I'm looking at the front of the tree. So at the back of the tree, I bury the wire in as far as it can go. So because I'm doing that, I don't think I'm going to repot it because I put wire into the soil. Because otherwise I'm going to have to get rid of the soil too much. So then I'd use two hands. Always when you wire, use two hands. Left hand, if you're a left-hander, if you're a right-hander, left hand holds the wire and the tree, and the right hand does the bending around. So it's pretty much go around at probably around 45 degrees, maybe 50 degrees. It's just practice. Wiring is just practice. Nothing too what's it called? Complex other than practice.
So when you're wiring at that stage, do you make it fairly snug to the...
Just off snug. So if you do really tight, you're going to have to take it off in 6 months.
Quickly,
Yeah, it's just, you leave a small gap. You can have a look later and see there's a little gap here and there. It's getting it snug but not too tight. And you want to avoid going through the branches or the twigs. So you go in between. So I'm going in between each bit.
Is that copper wire underneath that covering?
This is aluminium.
Aluminium.
Aluminium that's been, they call it anodized, so it goes that brown colour. It's nice looking colour, but it's aluminium because it's so easy to bend, so easy to use. I use copper, but it's anodized, so it's heated to a point where it's soft to use, but once it goes on, it goes hard, and copper is much more, let's put it, once you're more experienced with wiring, you can use copper on junipers and pines, but I still use aluminium on my deciduous trees. So my maples, etc., I always use aluminium because it's softer, and maples tend to be more delicate, so you don't want to be damaging too much.
But you could actually use that type of wiring on anything.
Pretty much, yeah. You can use this on anything. It just comes with experience. That's all. That's all it is. So I'm making my way up the tree. Can we use the top? Let's try. Let's see what we come up with. We might not use it, but I want to try and incorporate it some way. Deadwood. Can we use it in other ways? So it's not that hard. 2 hands, always 2 hands, and it becomes quite easy. And that's 5 mil wide. It's pretty thick. So I know it will do the job of bending. Should do the job of bending this. All right. So now let's try and before I wire the rest of the tree, I might snap it. You never know. So let's try and get some shape into this. I just want to try and imagine. Because you always don't want to have. So at the moment, it's pretty two-dimensional. Do you know what I mean by two-dimensional? It's like it's just left and right. You still got to go backwards. You got to go forwards a bit. Give it some different angles. You can't have just the left to right all the way. It doesn't look right. So you always think you want to go from at the moment. It looks pretty. It's pretty flat there. It's a pretty flat plane. So first, I'll probably want to go back. And when I bend, I use 2 hands. This one holds the tree, and I bend with the other hand. I bend the wire, not the branch. Hard to explain, but try and focus on the wire bending.
How often do you break them and bend them?
Not anymore.
We're talking us or him.
How about in the beginning? How many did you break?
I'm sure I heard cracks here and there. Not as often as you think, because you're very cautious at the start. You don't want to do too much. It's when you start to get more confident that you're brought back down to earth when you go,
oops.
oh, geez, David, don't rush so much. So,
I cracked one and got the wire and put it back and it's grown fine.
Yeah, it's only if you don't snap it right back. Like if you can crack it a little bit, not a problem. But when you snap it right off, forget about it. It won't come back.
Sure, it's how you hold your tongue.
So look how much I've bent it already.
Wow.
Oh, that's lovely.
That didn't take hard. That wasn't that hard. You saw me just manipulating it slowly. And look, we've got a different tree. What are we going to do now? So it's like,
That's so different.
I've wired everything up. It was like, now it's a twisty tree and I can try a bit more. So this is where you start to get.
Cocky.
Here you go.
Come on, guys, have confidence. So now what I'll do is I'll just try and remove some of the.
There you go, snap.
It's all come on, have confidence in me.
We're thinking about something.
Okay, we're confident you're going to snap it.
Oh, I got my heckler there. There he is. So, because I really love, with junipers, I really love small trees, really compact small ones. So that's why I want to try and get it small and show you what you can do. And don't be scared.
But that's using the 5 mil gauge, isn't it? It's really
It
thick.
is. It's really thick and it helps me bend it.
Does Bunnings sell that sort of gauge?
Don't
I'll go through Bonsai.
come to our club, go to the sales area, you can't get it cheaper.
Oh, I'm
Wait,
from
you can't get
Torquay.
that at Bunnings.
Well, at the
But
moment,
there's one in Geelong, I think.
I'm just saying now, in the sales area, go to the sales area, you can get
You can't
anything you
get
want.
those wires at Bunnings.
No, or not cheap.
Oh, okay.
Not cheap.
But do you have those tools here?
Yep, everything.
Oh, I didn't see any tools.
It's on the, there's a rack at the back. They just have a look. They're all there, all the
Too
tools are
busy
there.
looking at the phone.
That's why. That's why you come to these and then you
That heavier wire is what you need.
What makes these tools different to secateurs?
because these are designed for actually bonsai. Secretaries just cut the branch off. Like this branch cutter, were you here before?
We weren't here initially.
Well, one wasn't there.
That's all right. It's a it creates a concave cut on the trunk.
Okay.
So when it heals flat. Secretaries just do that and they leave a stub, and then the stub is always going to be sticking out. You want a nice clean finish sometimes. Yep. All right. So I have now just created. Look at that little guy now. See how it's really compressed and got really nice and tight. So I like that. I think we got a nice little mini tree there going. So we'll keep this. Now I'm going to go through which branches we're going to keep. We don't want him. Now it's easier for me to decide. So I want to show a bit of that tree. Do we keep? Probably don't need him anymore. He can be wide.
Should have left him. Oh, go and work back on again.
He can be wide there. So now I start to trim down some of the long branches. Can leave him for now. You always want to also make sure you leave branches at the back to give it depth, yes. So very important. So now it's me just thinning out because I can see what I want to do now. It's just a matter of choosing which ones to keep. It's never going to have really high branches. So can you kind of see now a tree starting to come together? Slowly. We'll get there. But we've got a lot of mess around here still. We've got to clean all this up. I'll go with you. If you've got questions, fire away. It helps to pass the time.
How often is there any minimum as to repotting?
You repot, firstly, repot the right time of the year.
Yes.
Yes. I don't repot unless I need to. So junipers, pines, and conifers are very slow growing in roots, so I wouldn't repot very often. Depends on the tree. No, 3 years minimum. Minimum, absolute minimum. I wouldn't repot for 3 years. A tree that I've done. Some of my pines haven't been repotted in 10 years because they don't need to be. But my trident maples probably every year need to be repotted. I'm trying to extend to 2 years because I tell you, in 1 year the roots will fill the pot like that for trident maples. They're awesome. Awesome for new people as well.
What's the right time of the year?
So deciduous trees right now, junipers, conifers probably in a month's time. Figs, if you like figs, that's not until summer. So different trees, it's more researching and understanding what works in your climate. So it's a little tricky to tell you exactly.
Azaleas, when would you do?
Yeah, one thing I don't do is azaleas because when I tried them, I just couldn't get them right. I just couldn't understand how to do them. They look magnificent when they flower, and I just couldn't figure out when to repot them. I couldn't figure out wiring them because I wire them in the break. So it's like I gave up. So but they're really good if you get the flowers on them and the right look and feel. There's even a Satsuki azalea group that does just azaleas out there. So lots of people love them. I just can't give you advice on something I don't know.
Do you do crepe myrtles?
I don't do crepe myrtles, but they're pretty strong, pretty easy going.
Yeah, what's crepe myrtle?
So I'm just cleaning up now the trunk line. I'm not doing anything that's going downwards. I'm getting rid of. Don't need anything that goes down. So what I want to show you is this was the top of the tree. If I just focus on this little guy and these two guys here, creating the new top. I don't need it to go all the way up here. It's a bit heavy, so what I'm trying to do is what's called taper. So you want to start off big and come to a nice point. That's called taper. You'll see it in the trees in there. So that's a bit too much. So I'll just show you. I'll be cutting it off. So where was it? There, about there. Yep. And I think that's the new top. So there you go. That's the height I'll get it down to. You can see now. Can you see a clearer picture? Kind of. And I'll probably want to angle it like that a bit. Okay. things that are going downwards, I don't want to keep. It's not really that hard. You just follow the process. Now, once I wire this, it'll be totally different. And I'll show you.
You know when to stop.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
I
scary,
know,
isn't
I
it?
stopped about 5 minutes ago.
I reckon that's good. Let's just shorten some of these guys because we don't need such long branches. Now I'll just do some wiring. Now you saw how I did the main trunk, putting it in there. Now I try and do, when I wire, I try and do 2 branches with the 1 wire. Okay, so it's just trying to get the right gauge. For aluminium, I try and do at least half the thickness of the branch. At least half the thickness, okay? So that looks like about a 2 mil. So that's a good size there.
Just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
when you had it before, you put it on like 45. Is that what you're planning on?
So what I'll do now is I'll wire the tree, and then I'll come back, position the branches. So I wire the tree up first, and then I'll put the tree at the angle I want, and then I'll bend the branches into shape.
The reason why I'm asking is you've put it back to this state, and
Looks different.
can you sort of, is your head, I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't have you, so I didn't see your head cocked at a 45-degree angle on how you want it, that's all. And
That's all right.
the way you, have you already pretty much designed?
I have an idea,
Yeah.
but I never know exactly until I'm done.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
They
It's like you have an idea of what it's going to look like, but you just never know until. I can't see like that. I can do it. Oh my gosh.
I've got a Moreton Bay fig, it's
Yep.
probably about 30 years old.
Yep,
And I repot it about every 2 years.
that's fine. It's
But-
full of pot, doesn't it?
But I just wondered, does it need a bigger pot? Because the roots grow out the bottom, and I've got the pot sitting on top of a bowl, and the bowl fills up with water,
Yep.
and it thrives on it.
Yep.
The roots are thriving on it.
Yep.
But there's all these roots. Do I really need to go to a bigger bowl?
What
No.
type of plant was it?
Moreton Bay fig.
No.
Oh, okay.
As long as because you only want to go to a bigger pot if the trunk's getting really big.
Oh, the trunk's out and the top of the roots are out sitting
But
out.
okay,
Okay, it's what I like,
yeah. If it's what you like, then just
so I don't need to go to a bigger pot.
I wouldn't
So
do
thought
that.
maybe
You'd
I-
only go to a bigger pot if the trunk's going really fat and it doesn't fit the
Doesn't
pot
fit in
in.
the
Yeah,
pot.
it doesn't fit in the
Okay,
pot.
no, it fits easy in the pot.
So that's really the only time.
So just keep cutting the roots off and trimming the top.
True.
Okay.
So it's always tricky. Apologies. Trying to get this right. Because what I try and do is also avoid crossing the wire. So it's an interesting one to try and do. Now wiring's kind of boring, so this is the time to ask questions. Well, I love wiring. It's very therapeutic. Any questions? Anyone got a question on the tree in the show? I think I've seen the show. It's been so busy that I haven't had a chance.
One thing I did notice just then, Dave, with your wiring of the branches, you wired that bottom one, for example, clockwise, and the one you've come to the other one is anti-clockwise.
Yeah. At this stage, it doesn't matter entirely, too short, because they're so small. There's more difficult techniques with the direction of wire. You wire something if it's a bigger branches and you want to do heavy bends. Like I can get a branch from all the way back here, all the way around if I wire it the right way. But if you wire it the wrong way, it won't bend around. Okay, but this tree's so young, I don't need to worry about that.
So they're pretty, because they're so flexible.
Yeah, it's just so young, I don't need to worry about it. So I've wired this branch and this branch, but I haven't positioned them. I've just wired them. Okay. So I'll just keep going through it. Anyone got other questions?
Is there ever too much of cutting back when it doesn't progress? Or should you cut that more?
No, that's enough.
That's enough.
If you cut any more, you're putting it at risk. But because they're so young and strong, healthy, look at the roots. That's the most important thing. So, conifers generate all the energy from their roots. They need strong roots. Junipers need foliage to actually, sun. This grows, then this grows. So it's kind of balancing it up. So if you take too much off here, it's going to go, where am I going to get my energy from? So I've taken off probably half, I'd say. Wouldn't be more than half. And there's still
So
lots
what
there.
size pot would you be looking for?
One of these, probably one of these two smaller
Are
ones.
you going to put it in?
No, I don't think I'll do that today.
Oh, why?
Yeah.
Why not?
Will you? Because that's one of the things that
You want to see?
No.
Yeah.
I could do it, but if I was going to do it today, I'd put it in a slightly bigger pot. I wouldn't put it in the ultimate pot of coming and getting to, because that needs, how do I say it? I've done a lot of work on the tree already. I don't want to give it even more stress. I don't want to stress it too much more. So I wouldn't put it in the ultimate pot it would be in. I'd put it in a slightly bigger pot.
So your ultimate pot may be that.
Ultimate pot would be these small, that small. Yeah.
So could you have put it in the pot first and then done all this?
No, I never do that. Always work the tree, and then when you want to repot, you put it in there because you want to tie it in and not let it move at all. Like you want to just tie it in and don't touch it, let it recover. So I'd even go slightly bigger actually, because that's a bit too small. I just want to show you what it will ultimately be.
Do you give it any feed immediately?
No, wait for about a month because it's still recovering.
It's all these small things that can sometimes make the difference.
Make the difference.
Yeah.
All right, I just got to keep wiring, otherwise I won't finish. You guys will be bored.
As far as not feeding it for a couple of months, when you're potting it, what about seaweed or which is usually something
Like
to
sea salt and things like that.
shop?
You could, it doesn't harm it, but I just avoid doing anything to it for a month. Let it just do itself. It should recover on its own. That's how I think of it.
Do you put that in a shadier place first for a couple of weeks or whatever, and then move it?
I don't put, well, at this time of year, there's not really much problem, is there? So it depends on the time of year. They say you've got to put it in a shady spot, but guess what? The sun's not that strong at the moment, is it? So if
If it was in summer,
you don't repot in summer.
you don't know in summer.
Not these trees.
So it's all kind of
Relative.
relative.
Once you've repotted it, how frequently do you water the juniper?
In winter, I hardly water in winter. Hardly water because I don't need to.
Is that
but-
when you've got it positioned or something, or is that just because they're just
Or is that just normal
Well-
rain goes on it?
Just normal rain goes on it.
Yeah, which is the best.
And if it's nice and open area, I've got no problems. But you need to check your trees. Like when I repot my trees, my mix that I put it in is very open. So it's almost like pebbles, like quite heavy pebbles. So if you have dry winds, you know how we've had windy days, quite a lot of windy days lately, it dries the soil out no matter what, even if it's winter. So think about it dries out probably every second day after check, and I have a look and I scrounge around and I need to do this. I need to water, but this tree is in such an organic mix. It's quite wet. Come on over the field. I won't water that. You don't need to water it. But when you get into your because I've been doing it for a long time, my mix I make it myself, and it's a very open and porous mix. The water just pours through it, right? So that's why I would need to water, check on it on windy days. But if you get frosts, you get cool mornings, all the dew, that waters it pretty much. I don't even have to worry too much about it.
How often do you fertilize?
Probably in spring every 4 weeks. I'm a bit lazy. People do it more often, people do it less. 6 weeks, 4 weeks, every liquid fertilizer. What I like to do is I use tea bags. You know Daiso, the Japanese store Daiso. You buy 100 tea bags, empty ones, for like $2.80, and I fill it with dynamic lifter, the tea bags, and then I put them around my soil, and I stick them with like little skewers, like wooden skewers, and that's done for 4 weeks, 5, 6 weeks, and it just when you water it, it feeds the soil. Does that make sense? It feeds the roots. It's lazy, but it's good and cheap.
Is that what dynamic lifter is?
Just the normal dynamic lifter you get from Bunnings or wherever.
And what, empty tea bag?
Yeah, so they come in 100 pack empty tea bags. So open the tea bag, fill it with the dynamic lifter, close the tea bag. I make about 100 of them, and then go around my trees. Put them on top of the soil on my trees. I put little skewers in them so that the birds don't kick them off. And when you water them, it just fertilises them.
So where can you get those two then?
Called Daiso, D-A-I-S-O. It's in the shopping centres. Most shopping centres have Daiso. It's a Japanese $2.80 store, $2.60, $2.80 store, and they're $2.80 for a pack of 100. Yeah, it's a nice little trick.
Yeah, because you can get those, what they call the bonsai pellets, which is
Don't-
but they seem to sit there and
That's
not do
just
anything.
over. Sorry, if you buy them, that's good. But I'm just saying you can get away with any fertilizer. You don't have to. There's no like hard and set. It's fertilizer. So
Do you use like Charlie Carp pellet or
yep.
anything
You can
like
use.
that?
I use Charlie Carp liquid.
Sorry?
I use Charlie Carp liquid. I haven't
Yeah.
used pellets.
Oh, you don't use the pellets?
I haven't used them. I'm not saying you can't use them, but you can use them if you want. I'm just saying I haven't used them. But there's nothing wrong with trying different things out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how I fertilise, and because I'm lazy. Occasionally I'm lazy. I love working on trees, designing, styling, but sometimes when it comes to the maintenance, it gets boring, but you got to do it. I'll be honest, sometimes you go, oh man, got to water my trees, got to fertilise my trees. Do it tomorrow, yeah, I'm so lazy, can't be bothered.
When you go on holidays, worse than having your house looked after.
No, so luckily I've got a backup sprinkler and all that kind of stuff to set up, so as long as you water it when you're on holidays, you have someone to water your trees, that's the most important thing.
Just make sure that they come over and actually water.
Yes, make sure they
Mine over there.
Even then, there's sometimes people just forget to water the baskets for 2 weeks later.
The last bag of bonsai potting mix I bought,
Yep.
it's very, very dry, but it absorbs the water quickly, but it looks as though it needs watering after you've watered it.
That's
Yeah,
a that's a
was
good
Bunnings
mix.
sponsor. That's a good mix.
Yeah, something mine looks like mine does the same kind of thing.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
it's important to, because you don't want to have soil too wet all the time. You want it to dry out a little bit before you water it the next time. Because there's two things. You can either overwater or not water at all. There's sometimes a balance you can strike. Okay, if you let this tree sit in water, it's going to rot. You can't let it do that. But if you let this tree get a little bit dry and then water, perfect. It's just spot on. It's what it does naturally. So you need to. There's a balance of how much water and how much letting it dry out a bit. Not really dry out, but
Have you got all your pots sitting on wire?
have I got? Sorry.
All your bonsai pots sitting on wire?
No, I've got just wooden benches. Just wooden benches. It doesn't
They've got
matter.
little feet.
Yeah, they've got little feet that just stand out of the water. So.
Oh yeah, I know, but the water would rot on the bench there.
Oh,
Whereas
it depends which
I've seen
bench it
them
is.
where they have them on wire benches.
That's good. Gives it
But
air
the drain
underneath.
goes down.
Yeah, that's a good thing too. Enables air to get into it and circulate through. All right, I'm getting there. So you can see starting to develop. I'm just wiring a few branches. I'm going a bit slow. Sorry guys. I'm usually faster than this.
Don't ask too many questions.
No, never can ask too much questions. I'm almost there. Not that much to go, but the trick is just trying to figure out which two branches you want to wire together.
How long would you leave it before you rewire?
This can stay probably easy, because I haven't wired too tightly.
How long would you wait now to put it into a new pot after you've done watering?
I would wait until next season. Yeah. Because you don't want to repot. As I said, you don't want to repot too often. I've just given this tree a massive haircut. I know that one got repotted, but there's a reason for that. I'll let the other guy explain. But this tree, I just want to, there's no rush.
But it's good
If you really wanted to, I'd slightly bigger pot than this. I mean, I could do it, but I don't know. Do I really want to do it now?
No,
I might as well.
this is the previous demonstration.
You're saying season, as in a year's time?
Yeah, in a year's time.
So you leave it in a big pot for a year?
Yeah,
This is Dave's, he likes to do this.
it shouldn't be a problem.
With the wiring, you'd leave that wiring on for the 12 months as well.
Yep. It won't cut in. It should be fine.
That's,
Yeah.
It won't
You can
cut in.
see where there's gaps here.
It won't
In
cut in.
regards to fertiliser and stuff like that, you say you shouldn't cut in. It all depends on how quick the tree's going to grow too, doesn't it?
Yep. But this guy should be fine. I wouldn't envision this needs to be even touched for a year. You come back in a year and then you go, oh, it's growing lots. Great. That's what you want to see. You want to say,
Yeah.
oh, that's awesome. Because it's not about rushing. Patience. One thing bonsai teaches you is patience. You've got to be patient. And that's one of the best things about this art form I like, is the patience it teaches you.
It's already got so many roots in that plastic pot. Would you trim them back at all?
Not now. Let it just recover photosynthesis, roots grow photosynthesis, strong, healthy, repot next year. Very minimal work on the top. Work the roots so the top is still strong, feeds the roots grow, tree's healthy. In 2 years' time, this could be really, really nice. Like, you got to give yourself 2 years. Don't think 6 months it's going to be fantastic. 2 years, this will look really good.
So
And
when
would you
yours,
cut it in half?
Sorry.
Do you cut it in half?
Cut it in half. The roots?
The roots.
No, don't ever just go cut straight in. Tease the
Tease them
roots out, tease the root, take your time, get rid of the soil, get rid of most of the soil. Then you'll see the long bits and the heavy ones. The heavy roots are the ones you don't want. You want the fine roots. The fine roots is what feeds the tree. The heavy roots is what keeps the tree stable. Think about it in the botanic gardens, all those massive heavy, they keep the tree stable. But underneath there's all the fine roots feeding it. So that's very, very important. Get rid of the fat roots. So you can see there's a big heavy one there. That ultimately will go. You want to keep the fine ones, this nice
So
fine stuff.
when you repot that, when the time comes, you're going to have all those roots.
So I'll tease it out
Yeah,
and then I'll trim back the roots.
and you trim them.
But I just don't want to go blanket.
Yeah.
I just don't do it.
so you'd rather put it back into that pot for how long?
Oh, until next season. Until
12 months.
until
So just
August.
leave it as is?
Yeah, as is. Let it recover. I like it on an angle, but I'll have to put it back in the pot. But it would be, I think it should be on the slight angle, but that's my preference.
You wouldn't tease the bottom roots to get that angle for sitting in the pot?
So the only thing I'll do is I'll put soil on one side.
And just give it a little bit of...
I'll probably even put this. You can put even this on the bottom. That's fine. It's like compost. And I'll show you. I'll do it actually.
Yeah.
Rather than repotting it, it's too dangerous.
There's a couple inside in ceramic cup type things. Growing down, yeah.
That's
Oh yes.
I mean,
They're a special pot and a special.
a special pot.
Yeah, specially made probably. Yeah.
Because they look great.
Yeah, they are.
The China, I think we've got the China.
Let me just check on this.
There's another, what was it, tea tree also had a cascade.
Yeah, the tea tree came out
It was
well.
very nice. But as I say too, it's extremely hard to find the perfect bonsai pot.
So wiring also is just practice, guys. So,
Dave, roughly how old's that plant?
I was saying before,
Just a-
probably 5 to 7.
5 to
I'd say.
7 years?
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
Don'ts.
She said one of the don'ts.
I honestly
You find
think
that the hard way.
if you're starting out, don't just have a couple.
Don't
You
just
could,
what?
don't just have a couple. If you're starting out, don't just have a little couple of them because you'll love them to death. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You'll just do so much to them they'll just
But they're
die.
addictive. You wouldn't-
But that's
They're
the point.
addictive.
So as I said, I can only say my opinion and my experience. I started with hundreds. And I killed some, no doubt. I 100% killed some. It's because you're trying things. But if I only had a few, I'd kill every single one. Does that make sense? That's one thing when you start. I'd say, I know I'm the president of the club, but join a club. Club is, I joined when I was early 20s, and now I'm double that, but I'm still there.
We're asking.
And I'm still there,
How many
so...
pots would you have?
Sorry, how many
Pots would you have?
pots? Just
How many
collect-
bonsais would you have in
Oh, I'd say now I've cut down to about 50 or so. And that's still too much.
Yeah, but how much is too much?
So what did that look like when you started?
Look like, yeah, like that. So I've started to reduce it down, wired it, bent it down, squatted it, much more tighter little pot like
That's
top.
what I mean, it's great thing to use it now.
So do you sell these starters?
These ones, I think we're actually selling this and the finished product of those. This will be for sale if you wanted it. I haven't checked, but it's not much.
Would you sell it?
Yeah, if you guys want.
Can I buy it?
Yeah. Do you want to do an auction?
No, I just want to buy it.
Oh. Anyone else want to buy it? Or
I can see
I
where
can
it
sell it.
starts.
Should have offered already that.
Yeah.
So now, I'll just show you what I'm trying to do now. I'll put it on an angle. So now I'm just going to put it on an angle.
Well, I'm trying to work out who my grandchildren are going to do in Europe.
So you can see how quickly I've just changed the angle. I can just change. I think it just needs a slight tilt.
Yeah.
Slight. Okay, nothing. Now I haven't even now I can actually go and go, let's position some of the wires. So use your two hands again, bend. Because this is a twisty trunk, twist the branches. Don't have straight. Does that make sense? You've got to make sure it's balanced. So you can see there, I think you can see that's kind of nicely twisted. Got to put some bends into the branches. Now always think three-dimensional. Now how three-dimensional is that? So it's going backwards, it's coming forwards. So you're looking at it from the side now. You can see it goes back, comes forward. The branches are everywhere. Think of things like that.
And where do you get the wire from? What kind of wire is it?
It's aluminium wire that's anodized. We sell it at the club. In the sales area right at the back, we've got all the tools, all the parts, all the wire. It's the club looking after it. We
Your
look after
club
it.
is out this way, isn't it? For
It's,
some of us that have come a distance.
It's in Essendon.
Yeah. For some of us, that's a bit far.
I know.
That's all right.
But you'll have clubs around you. There's other clubs around you. Just look up online. There's plenty. Does that make sense? We just enjoy it. It's a bit nuts sometimes in the meetings. You sometimes get 100 people turn up, and it's chaos, but it's fun chaos.
You
All
went
right.
once a month, was it?
Yeah, we meet on the first Monday, except January, because everyone's away, of course. First Monday.
So what sorts of things did you discuss?
Sorry, so we have either workshop nights where you bring your trees in, you get me and other experienced people helping you, giving you advice, going around, working on trees. It's got kind of really interesting, that's really interesting. Other nights we have demonstrations like this, but bigger scale, bigger trees, better. This August, the August meeting, we have what's called a critique night. So we've got 3 people on stage and trees come through and they say, this tree is really good for this, but it needs work here and here and here. And it could do this, you could do that with a different part, so it gives you advice on the tree. So it's a nice little difference than just a standard demo.
So can you bring your own, well, supposed starters in and someone will help you work out what you can
Yep,
do with it?
100%. That's workshop nights, we do that in workshop nights.
They have beginners workshops.
Well, before each meeting, we've got 30 minutes for beginners.
Sorry?
Before each meeting starts, we have 30 minutes before that for beginners.
Oh,
Sometimes, yeah, we've just introduced that and it's working really well.
yeah.
So,
And twice a year, we have beginners courses on the weekends.
oh yeah, we do beginners classes too.
That's all right, Dave.
So we've got lots of things. We've got lots of things happening in the club, but
Why are you putting 2 different gauges of wire on one brand? Thicker gauge of wire. Is that what you're doing?
so I wire alongside it
Why is that?
because I'm wiring this branch to another one because those 2 branches need the same gauge, so I can wire. I need to wire along and anchor it, so it's anchored along the trunk. Is that what you think? So I'm wiring this branch here is wired with this. Where is it? I'm going to wire this branch here.
I get you. I got you now.
And then I'm going to wire this branch here, so I've anchored it along the trunk. Because you need an anchor point, otherwise it's just going to seesaw. It's not going to do well. So this is the last bit of branch that I'm doing. Just check the angle again. So I'd go through now and just clean up underneath. You don't want anything growing down, you just clean it up. Now it's just a little bit of tweaks here and there. But you can see I've got branches coming forward, I've got branches at the back, it's branches everywhere. Alright, I think that's kind of it. What do you reckon? Nice little tree. And I'll just go straight back in there and that's it.